Anywho, salutation, darlings. Azor Wing here, bringing you some more Genshin Impact. I'm in Silver. I was just working on whatchamacallit, weekly quests. Weekly? Weekly. They have a name. What are they called? Quests and domains. No. Or quests and bounties. I was on the right line. Oh, I remember. I was just like looking at Yelan. It occurs to me, like, she has a bit of a wolf motif with her jacket. It has a tail. Like, she's the big bad wolf that everyone has to watch out for. Makes sense, pretty adorable. Anywho, yes, we are continuing. Second blooming. Alas, that is not for today. We are continuing. This one. We're at 4 days. Which one is 4 days? This one? I do believe yes. A single harmony for an irreplaceable soul. Last time we saw through the cracks of the world and it started falling apart on us. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, this is probably one of the few times I've been watching a previous video. I like to keep them self-contained otherwise. Yeah, yesterday I was a bit cursed, which is extra funny because, oh my gosh. Yesterday, or yesterday, day before, somewhere around there, or last time basically, I was like right before everything, I had been watching videos like about the back rooms. So not only was whatever the hell went on that went wrong perfectly timed. Oh, wait, I'm using the right team. That's okay.
This is the place. I enjoy training here to the sound of music.
But yes, it just all worked out.
Oh no! Paimon's gone deaf! Paimon can't hear anything!
My condolences, Paimon.
Oh, whew! Paimon hasn't gone deaf after all! Paimon heard you when you just spoke.
And yet she is no less loud.
Anyway, where is this music?
The faint sound of birdsong, the quiet murmur of the streams. These are relaxing sounds. Are they not the music of which you speak?
They are, but in the context that we're talking of, not quite.
Oh, Paimon wasn't quite done with the description. Okay, fine, it's all Paimon's fault. What we're looking for are not the sounds of nature, but melodies played on special instruments.
Oh, and a melody is?
Go on, Paimon, sing us a nursery rhyme.
Hey, don't you patronize Paimon! Let's get one thing straight. Paimon knows plenty of nursery rhymes, but Paimon does not sing on demand without payment. Hey, why don't you just sing that one melody Shen has heard before? It'll probably help her to understand what we're talking about.
Fingers crossed this won't attract any whopper flowers.
Oh, was that from the opera that Yunjin sang?
That was a melody, and melodies can be called music.
It felt like I was transported back to the past. In my mind's eye, I could see the Zhao lanterns lighting up the night sky again. We're all there, raising our glasses and drinking to our heart's content on the Jade Chamber. As I watched Yunjin's performance, I felt a warm sensation in my heart. And as the drink reached my stomach, it went from warm to hot. When you hummed that melody just now, feelings from a whole year ago came right back to me, as strong as they were on that day. Huh. So that's the power of music.
Wow, Shenhe. That was so deep!
Alas, I don't think Paimon will ever truly understand. But Shenhe got the memo.
Music definitely has the power to bring up memories. It's like a time capsule with all the special moments from our lives squished inside. What about you, Ganyu? Are there any melodies that have left a deep impression on you?
I don't remember if my parents ever sang any lullabies to me. I know some local folk songs, and a few other things come to mind too. The songs of the sailors down at the docks, the little ditties that the vendors call out in front of their beloved shops, the tunes of folk artists performing on the streets.
All the sounds of Liyue Harbor.
Yes, that's right. In the past, whenever I heard the sound of those, I always felt that they were worlds apart from me. Nenny and Liyue probably view me as a non-human. And they are right, in the sense that expression and their sentiments. So I haven't been able to integrate into their community and be a part of their lives.
I can never understand why it always goes straight to frame drops. Like, seriously. I double and triple check everything. It's like, oh yes, everything's fine, and then...
At least, that's the view I held in the past. Only more recently did I start to realize that the only barriers are ones that I have erected with my imagination. The way those melodies make me feel isn't all that different from other people after all. They're about mundane details of everyday existence. Life's ups and downs, joys and sorrows. Even though we come from different backgrounds and have different stories to tell, when it comes down to the most common things that we see and experience around us each day in the city, in that sense, we're all the same.
I couldn't agree more, Ganyu.
You go, Ganyu! You're really making progress. You have loads of friends in Liyue Harbor when you think about it. Like,
Oh, Pi.
okay, maybe some are more like coworkers and bosses, but at the very least, Kuching and Shenhe are your friends now, right?
Yes, I am. Technically speaking, we should refer to each other by the conventional forms of address used among fellow disciples. But now that I know what constitutes a friendship, I do believe we are more friends than co-disciples.
Oh.
Thank you, everyone. Once the days are warmer, I would like to host you at my home in the city. Please invite Kuching as well. I've planted many types of flowers. I'm sure some of them will be to your taste.
Right, she still eats flowers.
You are too kind. I couldn't possibly.
I don't know if she's being bashful that she would actually eat the flowers, or if she just doesn't know how to say most people don't eat them.
Nonsense. You are my friend. I have cultivated and cared for the flowers just as you taught me. Once you've seen them for yourself, I am sure you can advise me how to do an even better job next time.
Or does she mean it like taste as in decoration? I could be off the mark.
I will save some for decoration. We can feast on the rest.
Nope, I was right the first time.
Then, thank you in advance. Wait, what is that saying again? If you insist? Do people say that? I'm not completely sure either.
Oh my gosh. They're sisters. They're the best of sisters.
It doesn't matter, okay? You got the point across. No need to split hairs. Paimon's more concerned about your idea of a girls' night out. Eating flowers? Really? Does this have anything to do with you both being the disciples of that illuminated bird?
Cloud retainers makes them well. Best flowers. The kitchen will be much about any flowers.
Who dares refer to one not by one's Adeptus title, but merely as that illuminated bird?
She could sense she was being dissed from a mile away.
Master, our greetings, Cloud Retainer.
Ah! There it is! The illuminated bird has landed!
Oh my god, bye.
Double humph. Now she has the gall to use it rather than she. Even after being chastised once already? Barely a moment has passed since we last met, and yet your impertinence has reached new heights. Very well. If you refuse to learn your lesson, one shall scold you no further. One has received your message from Ganyu. On the matter of the Adeptus you seek, one suspects to know their identity. Well, shall one lead the way?
Yes, please, Cloud Retainer.
I still have to complete my training for today, so I will bid farewell to everyone here.
Very well. Await my arrival at one's abode later this night. On this special occasion, you should indulge yourself with some savory dishes.
Happy Lantern Rite, Shinha.
If you want to release a Shao Lantern, come and find us anytime.
Yep, yep.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Lantern Rite to you too.
Ah, yes, the Icy Sisters raised by a bird. Cared for by a bird. This is precious. Anywho, oh, we are going a ways away. But not impossibly far to reach. Alright.
Is this Quaily Plains? Cloud Retainer, why did you bring us here?
Ganyu is of course familiar with the name Guizhong, but have you ever heard of her?
I've heard it somewhere.
Guizhong is another name of Agentis, the god of dust. She was extroverted in nature and adored social gatherings and inventions alike. Long ago, this region was yet a prosperous assembly. Guizhong often invited her friends to visit her home, reserving for us seats around the largest stone table. Sea Gazer would always bring out his latest treasure and place it upon the table. He could be quite the braggart. Though usually a mild-mannered fellow, when it came to those collectibles he was so fond of, he always loved to show them off.
We each have our passion.
Paimon remembers that name. So that's what Sea Gazer was like.
He was an old friend and a former rival. One has many memories of him. Once he had brought out the treasure, it would predictably become the center of attention. Neither Guizhong nor one was content to let him just steal the spotlight. So we would then also present our proudest mechanical creations.
They're all competitive.
As Adepti, we were each gifted in our own ways, and naturally proud of our accomplishments in our respective fields of expertise. As a result, one often quarreled with Sea Gazer. His treasures were not even of his own making. He just used his exploration skills to dig them out of the ground. How, pray tell, could he compare to me, when every single one of one's accomplishments were crafted by one's own hand?
Cloud Retainer, you are getting competitive again.
She's so competitive.
One digresses. Regardless, every time an argument occurred, Guizhong would come over to watch us during our mutual lambastics. On some occasions, she would join in, and on others, she'd take one of us by the limb and start uttering the most ridiculous nonsense.
What kind of nonsense?
No kind of nonsense were we spared. Sometimes she would brazenly opine, why argue between yourselves when neither of you could ever hope to beat me? Other times, she would make unsolicited suggestions, such as, once you two are done arguing, let's go to the foot of the mountain and grill some meat. She always sought to make everyone happy, and one must say, she had quite the gift for it. No matter what nonsense she said, one never felt bothered or offended. It also helped that she never referred to one as that illuminated bird or lady bird.
You... Come on, get over yourself!
Paimon.
Anyway, just as our impassioned arguments would reach the apex of acrimony, Marchosius would bring his delectable dishes to the table. Who would dare snub the stove god and his wondrous creations? At the sight of him, we would all immediately drop the argument and prepare the table for a night of feasting and drinking. Back then, one was always bothered by how the cups Rex Lapis brought were always too square for one's taste. Can you see yourselves ever enjoying a drink from a square?
Actually have a squarish cup. I mean, it's tall enough to be rectangular, but it is annoying.
Precisely. So, as Rex Lapis was not immune to making the occasional blunder.
Okay.
Even one could never find fault with Marchosius's cooking. As we ate, Guizhong would continue to find topics for conversation, filling the table with humor and laughter. Each of those old fossils had their character flaws and points of obstinacy. So why was it that whenever we dined together, we always had a marvelous time? We would drink together from a spot high in the mountains, until the moon set and the sun rose, and only then would the banquet finally come to an end.
Made party all night.
Streetwood Rambler would often remain to admire the flowers with Guizhong before returning to her own abode. The glaze lilies were far more abundant back then. Entire fields of them would appear to the eye as a veritable sea of flowers.
Don't glaze lilies grow where happiness is, or something?
Streetward Rambler?
That would be Ping. You probably know her as Madam Ping.
Oh, okay. Wait, this is a lovely story and everything, but didn't we come here to find that Adeptus from Mr. Dvorak's story? Or are you saying that it was Guizhong? Didn't she, already,
Die?
Alas, long has one avoided this place for precisely that reason. The sights here are a reminder of a time long gone, and evoke much sorrow.
I can imagine.
One should have guessed that you would disrupt one's poignant moment of mourning with your incessant questioning. No matter, one will share the whole story with you now. In times gone by, one quarreled oft with Guizhong concerning mechanical principles. We each had our ideals, and neither would yield. Under the pretext of a social gathering, one invited the impartial Rex Lapis to judge the quality of our creations. But Rex Lapis declared that Guizhong's Obscuro Vulpus mechanism was superior. Though one was too proud to acknowledge it, in one's heart, one knew that Guizhong was indeed the superior talent in the mechanical arts. As for the story between Guizhong and Streetward Rambler, that begins with a certain bell. In Guizhong's opinion, while mechanisms were no substitute for human composers, they were yet capable of producing simple but fine melodies. But Streetward Rambler believed music to be an expression of the soul. an emotional enterprise that could never hope to be replicated by machinery. They argued endlessly, until one asked Rex Lapis to intercede. He confiscated the bell and designated it for ceremonial use. Thereafter, one would often find them convening in the mountains, discussing music, mechanics, and all the affairs of the mortal world. But these good times were not to last. War broke out between the gods, and soon engulfed the Guili Plains. Guizhong was overpowered by the enemy, and fell in battle. When Streetwood Rambler and I arrived at the scene at long last, all that remained among the ruins was her lifeless body. After this, at Streetwood Rambler's request, Rex Lapis granted her the cleansing bell for safekeeping. To honor our friend's memory, one made a few finishing touches to her ballistic device.
Oh. It was a
Many lantern rites have passed since then. Many greetings and goodbyes. Upon what do you gaze? The Guili Plains?
No. It's everything. We think of human life as like a lantern that's lit one minute and extinguished the next. But are we Adepti so different? Perhaps as dust settles after a storm, we too must one day return to the world below.
Oh.
One has always been austere and private by nature, and has never relished socializing. One's dealings with Guizhong were born out of discussions on the discipline of mechanics.
Oh. They were so cute together. They were so cute together. And now it's just Madame Payne. With her precious, ever so important bell.
What? You have loads of friends, and you seem pretty chatty.
Paimon.
Just because one is not ignorant of social graces does not mean one is fond of them. One is perfectly capable of partaking in conversation despite being introverted.
That is such a mood. Oh my goodness. I myself am an introvert at heart.
But in the end, one is nothing like Streetwood Rambler. She is dauntless but thoughtful, not to mention eloquent and wise. Moreover, her friendship with Guizhong was far greater than one's own. Back when they were rivals, they would often compete against one another in the realm of musical composition. That cleansing bell was one of Guizhong's proudest works, having the ability to both compose and perform.
Wait, that's weird. Didn't Madame Ping say she pestered an old friend for that bell? And she also said something about being a vain beauty when she was young or something.
Streetward Rambler, a vain beauty. My foot. That bell has a sad history. Clearly, she refrained from sharing with you the truth of its origins, since the right time had not yet come. As for her old friend, who else could it be?
They were roommates, Your Honor.
As soon as Streetward Rambler heard that a certain Zhang Li wished to borrow the bell, she realized that the man was none other than Rex Lapis, and that he had made an enormous decision. After all, we all have known each other for several millennia. Some things between us are implicitly understood.
Whoa! So they were talking in secret code? Oh, Paimon did not see that one coming.
Enough of your intrusions. Where was one up to? Ah, yes. One remembers now. The cleansing bell is powered by a mechanical art, and can be used to great effect as an accompanying instrument. After the passing of its creator, it was used on numerous occasions during rites of parting. But Streetward Rambler did not acquire it from Rex Lapis for the purpose of producing further funerary tunes. No. Each time she rang it, it was to play the tune that Gui Zhang composed on it. The two once clashed over their beliefs about the meaning of music. Who would have thought that with Gui Zhang's passing and Streetward Rambler's mourning, two tunes composed in discord would eventually become one harmonious composition? Once upon a time, Streetwood Rambler also loved gatherings, liquor, and music. But after Gui Zhang passed, she preferred her own company. She could often be found sitting alone at a mountain summit, contemplating and reminiscing with her zither. The music would go from mournful to soothing to impassioned. Many years passed before she finally composed a melody to her satisfaction. In celebration, she played the tune to the clouds. Regrettably, one has only ever heard her play that tune once.
So many thoughts and words.
Which brings one back to the matter you've been investigating. Perhaps it was during that performance that the ancestor of your Fontaine friend fell into the water and was saved by Streetwood Rambler.
Ah.
But if she was so happy with the melody, why would she only play it once?
Because the person she wanted to play it for is long past.
One was also greatly perplexed by this. After suppressing one's curiosity for a long while, one finally approached her and asked why she would retire the tune after having spent so long on it. In response, she said, "Though the strings that played that melody survive, the one who inspired it is gone. Tell me, Cloud Retainer, when the one attuned to my soul is no longer here, who else could hope to understand this tune?"
Oh my gosh.
Aw, poor Madam Ping.
My heart goes out to her 1,000 times over.
I just remember being taken care of by you when I was young. Once the Archon War came to an end, I stayed behind in Liyue Harbor to honor my contract. Although I met Gui Zhang a few times, I never knew anything of this particular story.
Gui Zhang was quite the visionary, but tragically passed before her time. Her manuscripts still lie unfinished in the realm of clouds. Blank pages give one cause for contemplation on what might have been.
I'm trying not to tear up. Oh.
Had you not decided to search for that mystery Adeptus, perhaps these stories, too, would have been lost to the sands of time.
We'll remember them wholly and always.
As of now, you know the truth. That the Adeptus who rescued the drowning man was none other than Streetwood Rambler. Do you intend to discuss this with her?
I don't see why not.
Do you mean Ping might find the topic too distressing?
Precisely. The passing of our old friend is a heavy topic that both of us are usually careful to avoid.
But acting like they were never there, by never speaking of them, doesn't feel like it's much better.
If I may be so bold, Cloud Retainer, could it be that this is just your own personal opinion?
Perhaps.
Oh? How so?
I've been in Liyue Harbor for quite a long time now, and I've witnessed many farewells along the way, so I too am well acquainted with the pain of the passing of a loved one. But this doesn't bring the city or its people to a standstill. They have to keep moving forward. Someone as perceptive and wise as Ping surely have come to understand and embrace this. Though these immortal mountains have lost an Adeptus, the harbor of mortals has gained a wise elder. No loss can ever be undone. but there is always much that can still be gained. Ping has helped countless people, and will guide many others in the years to come. And all to whom she extends a helping hand become her friends. People she can admire flowers and discuss music with. Though it is heartbreaking to lose a kindred spirit, life goes on, because there are new friends waiting for you further down the road.
Ganya's right.
We even asked Madame Ping what she thought about adding a music festival to this year's lantern rite. When we get back, why don't we just ask her if she'd like to perform? Maybe we can even get her up on stage.
Now that might be a bit much, Pi.
You youngsters and your imaginations.
Perhaps one day, though.
Why don't you come with us?
Yes.
It's been a long time since you last spoke with Ping, and Liyue Harbor is always decorated so beautifully during the festival period.
Is not every lantern rite the same in this regard? Were there ever anything new to discuss? One in Ping could meet any day of the year.
Perhaps. But Lantern Rite's special all the same.
I disagree. Each new day and each new year is different from those that have come before. How long will you simply let them pass you by?
The edibles she brought this time were indeed quite delectable. Very well. Then one will be off. If the other old fossils have sneaked away into the city to amuse themselves, one shall soon find out.
All right. We should be getting back to the harbor as well. We don't want to keep her waiting. Once the Guili Assembly, now the Guili Plains. Say, if we planted flowers there and cared for them carefully enough, do you think that one day we'd be able to recreate the sea of glaze lilies?
I think so.
Allow one to take back one's praise from a moment prior. You are still far too given to flights of fancy, child.
What? Cloud Retainer? You were still listening?
One observed that you were making no effort to leave, and returned to chasten and hasten you. This time, one is departing in earnest.
Mom's like, hurry, hurry. Cloud Retainer, aka a bird mom. She loves her daughters very much. She dotes on them. Cloud Retainer. Now, before we continue onward, lucky number 4. Pity. Was not lucky. Eight. 5 days. That's enough to get to. Post haste.
Whoa! Madam Ping? And Cloud Retainer?
I'd half wondered if Cloud Retainer would take on immortal form.
It appears you made haste after all. One arrived but moments before you.
Yes, yes.
Oh, bless my soul. To what do I owe the honor? How nice of you all to come and visit me.
Miss Illuminated Bird, haven't you said anything yet?
Said what, precisely? And why should one be tasked with saying it?
'Cause you're the one who's known Madam Ping the longest.
Street word. Or rather, presumably, you would prefer to be addressed as Ping?
Oh, Cloud Retainer, you are uncommonly polite today.
The passing of a loved one can always be a sore subject.
Given that Lantern Rite is almost upon us, the weather in the city is most pleasant, and a sweet floral fragrance lingers in the air. Ganyu, please continue from here.
Huh? All right. So, this all started because we were trying to help Mr. Dvorak find the Adeptus who saved his ancestor's life. Cloud Retainer informed us that the one who played that melody and rescued the drowning man was none other than yourself.
Ah, let me think. Yes, I do believe I recall that encounter. What a long time ago that was. I'm surprised that you still remember it. Even more astonishing, perhaps, is the fact that this story has survived this long at all, when mortal lives are so very brief. It appears that she has proven herself right once again.
Oh?
Who's she?
We like to call her Guizhong. From the look in Cloud Retainer's eyes, I sense that she has already told you all about her.
Albeit reluctantly, one might add.
There is no harm done. After all, Lantern Rite's very purpose is to commemorate the heroes who gave their lives for Liyue. Although Guizhong did not live to see the splendid sights of today, she was as much a hero as any other.
Of course.
So, how has she proven herself right again exactly?
Once upon a time, she said to me that humans were a weak form of life that she wished to protect with her wisdom.
Oh?
But as she interacted more and more with them, her opinions on them began to change. She marveled at the beautiful complexity of their spirits, the sheer splendor of all they could accomplish through their hard work and intelligence. She told us that to underestimate human potential would be to make a grave mistake. With the smallest amount of guidance, enormous power can be unleashed in them. And a human who has reached their full potential may well be her equal. Someone who could have as much to teach an Adeptus as to learn from them.
She always had a way with words. That her mechanical accomplishments were judged superior to one's own was, one suspects, in large part due to her sheer eloquence.
Speaking of mechanics, Cloud Retainer, do you still remember that potted plant mechanism? The one that the two of you gave me as a gift?
Of course. Guizhong and one both put an immense amount of effort into that gift. It would be no overstatement to call it a testament to each of our individual technical genius.
As Guizhong once said, it takes every blade of grass and every flower to make a homeland. When I see the sight of Liyue Harbor before us today, I am reminded of this.
Madam Ping looks very emotional right now.
Well, she's been through a lot in her time.
Of all of us, it was Gui Zhong who was the fondest of these grand and exciting occasions. If she were still with us, I'm quite sure she would still be trying to best Cloud Retainer's finest works at every opportunity.
Liyue Harbor is always filled with the sound of music at this time of the year. If she were here, one is certain that she would seek you out to discuss and debate the virtues of various melodies.
Oh, yeah! Music!
Music.
We've been dying to ask. What was the melody that you played back then? Oh, also, with you being such a music expert and all, why don't you join the concert as a performer?
I can make arrangements right away.
Oh, as much as I don't wish to dampen your enthusiasm, it's been a long time since I played this zither. My fingers don't have the dexterity they once did, and whenever I play that tune, it always reminds me of her.
She does play.
I start wondering what she would think of the changes I have made to her melody.
She does play the song.
There was a period of time whenever I started strumming, it almost felt like she was back again. Sitting right there on the stone stool next to me, chatting away. Skybracer and Seagazer too, looking just like they did in the old days. No matter how much time goes by, the moment that melody starts playing, it transports me right back to that time in my memory.
So the past still weighs heavily on your heart?
Oh, I would be lying to myself if I claimed to have completely moved on. But that is not to say that grief doesn't get easier with time. Despite the sadness, I have found many things that bring me joy in life. It is simply the nature of the world in which we live that, even if one wished to mourn for an eternity, it would be a nigh impossible feat. Just look at this potted plant. Isn't it stunning?
It takes an honest and open mind to confront and conquer grief. You have indeed made progress.
Be that as it may, I shall leave the Lantern Rite stage to the youth of today.
Well, if you're sure.
I wonder if one of the instruments that we'll get will be a zither. I hope so. Oh, it's such a cool instrument.
Granny!
Ah, Yanfei.
Whoa, what's everyone doing here? Did something bad happen?
Nope.
And now we've spooked Yanfei. No. Everyone's just here to give me their regards for the holiday.
Oh, that's wonderful, I'm glad. Well, in that case, happy Lantern Rite, everyone.
Happy Lantern Rite.
Happy Lantern Rite. Oh, I just remembered that I have some, work to do at Yuehai Pavilion that I need to discuss with Yanfei. I haven't been able to find a chance until now.
Huh?
I will leave Mr. Dvorak in your capable hands. Cloud Retainer, Ping, we will be off for now.
Huh? Does it have to be right now? Which case is this again? Hey, Ganyu!
It seems Ganyu still has much to learn when it comes to the art of deception.
What a pity. She has learned nothing of one's ability to carry a conversation.
Since it's been so long, Cloud Retainer, why don't you stay? I'll make a cup of tea and we can chat a while.
Gladly. This was one's intention as well.
When you next see the Fontaine musician, please give him my regards. I'd like to wish him the very best with the concert.
You got it, Madam Ping.
Yep.
Thank you all. I think you've listened to enough of my nattering for one day.
I'd hardly call it nattering.
As for that melody, I will play it for you all another time. Goodness knows I need to practice it first.
Wow, that'd be great! We'll look forward to it.
When that time comes, wherever her spirit may be among the countless grains of sand and specks of dust between the harbor and the mountains, perhaps she will look at the Liyue of today and steal a smile when she sees the prosperous land that it has become.
All right, let's go tell Mr. Dvorak the news.
This is a peaceful neighborhood.
Okay.
Ping, what say you to convening more often in the future?
That would be quite wonderful. But I must say, after all this time, I've grown quite accustomed to the harbor. When we are to meet, I shall have to trouble you to make the journey to the city.
You sound just like Shenhe. The child is constantly telling one all sorts of stories from the city, as if one was partial to them.
Have you ever considered moving to the city, Cloud Retainer? There are plenty of people here to talk to. I think you would find it quite the antidote to the monotony of solitude. And if you looked around, I suspect you would find some young minds with an interest in the mechanical arts. Some of them even worth training.
High praise from Madam Ping.
We shall see.
In a way, there's always tragedy with death and the passing of a loved one. But I dare say that there's a bit of an extra tragedy when the death is that of an immortal. Die from old age. Who can only pass to us. I wonder if that bird is supposed to be like I just remember the Salt Ruler and Madam Ping. I wonder if that's supposed to be like Madam Ping. Who knows?
Mr. Dvorak!
Hello, hello.
Ah, and Kuchin's here too! Thanks for helping set all of this up.
Yes, most thanks.
Welcome back. Did everything go well?
I'd say so. Oh, lost quite a few frames along the line. I have no idea if you heard me. Fingers crossed that you did.
Really, really well. We found the person Mr. Dvorak was looking for.
Are you serious?
The true story of the fairy lady.
I see. So the melody my ancestor heard was an adeptus remembering her late friend? That certainly explains why it was such a powerful and poignant tune.
Huh. That's a really interesting first reaction. Guess that comes with having a musical mind.
I have to say, though, it's hard to believe that the fairy from the tale is now an elderly granny.
Oh, Paimon knows exactly what you mean. Normally, Adepti don't age at all. But Streetward Rambler, or Madam Ping as we know her, probably only became old because it's what she wanted for herself.
I never thought exactly of why Madam Ping is old in
Madam
appearance.
Ping possesses vast knowledge and great wisdom. Whatever physical form she may decide to take, her mind and wits are as sharp as they come.
Yep, Kuching summed it up perfectly. That's exactly what Paimon was trying to say.
I think... yes. I must thank her in person. That can wait until after the concert, though. For now, I need to devote all my emotional energy to the performance.
Ah, speaking of, Madam Ping wishes you all the best at the music festival. Paimon has a sneaking suspicion that she'll stay in her usual spot, but listen to the performances from afar.
Yeah.
Wait, are you serious? Huh. Oh no, now I'm starting to get nervous.
Just treat it like any other performance.
Okay, alright. Nope, another rehearsal is in order. Please excuse me, everyone.
Yes.
Mr. Dvorak? He's already gone. Paimon wasn't even finished telling him everything. Before we set off on our search with Ganyu, he asked us about what music means to people. After our recent adventure, Paimon thinks we have a lot more to say about that now.
Please, share your insights with me.
Music. A key to memories.
Well, we found out that music can be used for good, but also for bad.
Oh, right, with those robbers.
It can make people happy and moved, but it can also be sad and bittersweet. And music is like a kind of memory written in people's hearts. It can put you in touch with feelings from a totally different time and place.
Pretty much. Though there was more to it than that. It's a broad summary, but not the most detailed.
It sounds like you had an eventful trip. Don't worry, I'm sure Ganyu will fill me in on all the details shortly.
Wait, does that mean you're gonna carry on working?
Mm-hmm. Just a few things to wrap up. All the groundwork is done.
Well,
As long as everyone enjoys the festival activities, all our efforts are worthwhile.
happy lantern, right?
Happy Lantern Rite to you as well.
That should be everything taken care of, right? Oh, no, wait. Paimon feels like she's forgetting something. What was it? Oh, it feels like it was a while ago. Shoot! Latent... Wait, no. Anyway, fancy bamboo shoots!
Made from nascent bamboo shoots for
Jean
Jean-Louis.
Lee said he wasn't in a hurry, so if we went now, there's probably still time, right? Anyway, even if we don't make it, it's not our fault. He could have totally picked them by himself. Ugh. Anyway, let's go check with him at Wangsheng Funeral Parlor.
I still have this little bird because it is the most precious thing since anything has ever existed.
Oh, all right. Let's take a break here. Oh, wow, look who it is. Are you here to hang out with everyone's favorite funeral director?
Got us red-handed.
So you're just casually practicing your rapping skills at the entrance to your funeral parlor? In broad daylight? Okay.
Wow.
After everything we've been through, you don't see me for a hot minute, and you're back to being scared of your own shadow. We have all this open space, a clear view of the mountains behind and the sea in front. Not to mention we have several invisible audience members enthusiastically cheering us on. It's the perfect spot to rehearse.
Hutao sure is something.
Invisible audience members?
Ghosts.
Gotta say, it took me a few days to get used to Director Who's way of talking.
Xinyan was pretty spooked too when she first got here. Just like when she sees a frog, but a giant frog with sharp teeth.
Come on, knock it off.
What's wrong? I've never seen someone look so confused before. Well, don't worry, because Director Who's here to explain it all. There once was a Fontaine musician who went around town on a mission. He came door to door for his iridescence tour, looking for acts to audition. With my words, Shinyan's chorus, and Yunjin as our mentor, we'll take the stage by storm with flames roaring and the whole audience calling for more.
Heck yeah.
For sure! The whole dance floor will be yelling encore! Encore! Oh, now Paimon's rhyming along. But when you say flames roaring, are you sure this will be safe?
There are 2 pyro users. Hopefully.
Oh, don't you worry about that. I'm pretty experienced on the stage, and I've already informed the Yuhong of all the pyrotechnics we're planning on using.
Huh. Guess we'll just have to trust Xinyan on this one.
So, have you seen Zhongli, Director Who?
Oh, Zhongli. He took one of those fancy meal boxes and set off for the mountains. Said he wanted to pay a visit to some old friends.
Oh my gosh.
It's a real pity that he couldn't be around for this. As well as being a true connoisseur of traditional art forms, he's able to appreciate Xinyan's performances too.
I'm sure he can.
Yeah, that's right. Matter of fact, he was the one who first invited me to perform here.
Oh.
To tell the truth, though, I never thought I'd really find myself rehearsing here one day.
Well, now you know. The Wangsheng Funeral Parlor is a great location. All of you are always welcome to come and hang out here, especially if you're in the mood to try something new. I can speak to that. Hu Tao is always full of fun surprises.
And jump scares.
Actually, Xinyan, I have some lyric ideas for your part. Do you want to go through them together?
Oh, sure thing. I'm all ears.
Oh, Traveler in Paimon, I believe Zhongli was heading to Mount Hulao, so make sure you're hiking up the right hill. When you see Zhongli, please pass on this message to him. It's up to him whether he wants to support us at the performance tonight, but I expect him to make time for the upcoming banquet we're planning. No excuses. You should join us too. It'll be a riot. If there's one thing I've learned from being a funeral director, it's how to throw a party. Okay, everyone. I think that's a long enough break. Let's take it from the top, shall we?
Shall we?
Ms. Eunice, such a strict mentor. These breaks aren't even long enough to have a sip of tea. Well, you were desperate to get involved, and this is the chance. You'd be sipping tea till nightfall.
Hey, how about I treat us all to some late-night snacks once we're done?
How about some stir-fried filet with a side of crab roe tofu?
Where are we gonna find crab roe tofu? So
Let's just go pester masterful chef Zhongling. Now I'm hungry. All right, let's knock this out and then go grab some food.
Keep pressing wrong buttons. Mount Hulao. Yes, I don't want to. Oh boy. Don't want to, I don't get chances. I'm not always just casually wandering around and stumbling onto burlesques. Oh.
Paimon sees them! It's illuminated deer! And illuminated bird number 2!
Greetings, everyone. Long time no see.
A familiar face.
Moon
Have you come from Liyue Harbor? How is the city nowadays?
Everything's great! But if you're so curious, you can always go and check it out for yourself.
In fact, Mooncarver has been taking many walks on Mount Tianheng in recent times. I believe the sights of the city are quite familiar to him.
Zhongli! Here you are! We've brought the bamboo shoots you wanted.
Impeccable timing.
What cooking mechanism next to him?
Traditionally, bamboo shoot soup ought to be slow cooked for many hours on low heat. Using Adeptus arts to hasten the process is something of a shortcut.
Wait, that mechanism. Is that?
Indeed. Cloud Retainer kindly lent me her supreme cuisine machine.
Oh, so that's where she was going earlier.
Can we not just call it a cooking machine? Actually, never mind. She seems to take a lot of pride in her mechanical gizmos, so it's probably best if Paimon doesn't go changing the name willy-nilly.
You don't say, Pi.
I trust that you found the answers you were seeking during your recent journey?
Yep.
Excellent. The past should be remembered, but not overly dwelt upon. Our journey should be seen as a means to take on more from the world around us. When the bamboo shoot soup is ready, I must insist that you try some for yourself.
Of course.
Oh, Zhongli! Hutao told us to tell you something. She said, it's up to him whether he wants to support us at the performance tonight, but I expect him to make time for the upcoming banquet we're planning. No excuses! When she says performance, she must mean the Lantern Rite Music Festival. As for the banquet, she didn't tell us anything more about that, but she invited us to come as well.
Sounds fun.
As you can see, I have a prior engagement with 2 Adepti friends of mine tonight. Please, give Director Hu my best wishes for the performance. As for the banquet, since the Director insists, far be it from a mere consultant like myself to refuse.
Yay! Then we'll see you there?
Absolutely.
Seems so.
Rex Lapis, the bamboo shoot soup is ready.
Mountain Shaper.
Thank you. I will examine it right away. The appearance is exquisite, and the aroma rich and intense. The craftsmanship of this machine is commendable indeed. Since you came all this way, you should not leave empty-handed. Please, take some soup. It tastes most exquisite while still warm.
I think we get a few of these. Food that really will never eat. The bamboo shoot soup created using the Supreme Cuisine machine. Zhongli rated this dish as such. The appearance is exquisite and the aroma rich and intense. Among its key ingredients are nascent bamboo shoots. They are hard to come by, and due to a multiplicity of reasons, their commemorative value far exceeds their worth as a cooking ingredient. Since the meal was created by an Adeptus, it shouldn't spoil even if you just leave it in your bag. We're getting things set up for a grand old meal sometime in the future.
I intend to reminisce with my old friends for a while longer. You ought to get back to Liyue Harbor. There is a performance you do not want to miss.
Hello, you, Mountain Shaper, Mooncarver.
Had one known that Cloud Retainer was in possession of such eminently useful devices, one would have sought to borrow one from her long ago.
And yet, since you share my lack of enthusiasm for mechanisms and fine dining, it would have become a mere decorative ornament in your abode.
Not so. Had one had such a device to make up for one's lack of culinary prowess, Shenhe would not have had to rely on flowers and herbs alone for sustenance while under one's care.
In that case, shall we rendezvous with Cloud Retainer one day soon and request to borrow one more Supreme Cuisine machine?
A fine idea. A fine idea indeed.
I'm terrible at remembering the places where you can find Corlapius. I do suppose, yes. This one. Yes. Oh, there was a bigger group somewhere. No, I haven't done my commissions for today. It's barely Wednesday. I keep pressing it because of this, but I don't want to select it, because if I claim this, the quest automatically starts, and you can't go. Basically, I'm not making the mistake of claiming it before I'm ready to actually do the quest. Oh. Oh, we're getting right to the lantern, right?
I'm honored to be here on the Iridescence Tour stage. All right, without further ado, I'm Xinyan, this is Hetao, and this is a little something called...
The Blink Lilies!
I'm up here blazing trails through the midnight sky, lighting up the world below. And when the crowds all hear my voice, they'll meet the spirit of rock and roll.
Let's go! Hey, you butterfly, you two buzzing by, guiding your way to the afterlife, opening the path without a fright. Oh! I'll light the fire, watch it blaze across the universe. I'll spit my rhymes, watch you step, or you'll get burned. Hey! Woo!
Yeah!
I don't know how anyone could not like this. It's so
Does anyone have any
cheesy.
plans tomorrow? With another year behind us, I think we deserve a celebration of our own. My treat.
Putting a bill? I can't miss out on that.
Master, listen!
May the year ahead be a blessed one.
I believe it shall be.
Master, the Xiao Lanterns,
Ha! Elementary. One shall fashion for you a Xiao lantern the likes of which the world has never seen. And you must take it to Liyue Harbor to display its magnificence for all.
Listen! That must be Madame Ping!
The lantern ride is nothing if not pretty. Between... What's the quest? Between facades and meditations. Oh, Hu Tao's dinner. Yes, 4 days. I'm surprised it's a world quest. I still don't want to miss it. Epilogue. Between facades and familiar faces.
Okay, now I need to get a move on and write my next song.
Listen to you. You only just fulfilled one lifetime dream. Are you really thinking about your next goal already?
She's ever striding forward.
Don't try to tell me you ain't the same way. I bet you've already thought up a name for your next opera, haven't you?
You know me too well, Xinyan. The Adeptus-Seeking Voyage. How does that sound?
Oh, man! Yeah, I can already picture it.
I've also got just the finishing line for it. I'll close with, and the celestial melody echoed through the clouds forevermore.
How could anyone not like that? It's adorable, it's delightful. Oh. Oh. I like the fish. Fish. Fishy. Her heart and soul poured into that song. And festive fever to get yo-yo. Yo-yo. I'm curious. Ooh. Definitely have to get 1,000 festive fever. Okay, so I have 4 days, give or take. Ah, yes, I'll do them once a day. I really forgot to make better use of my time. Imagine.
What's the hurry?
Are you almost? And I went far. Far too far. It's all ruined. I am awful. Well. I should charge my phone. It's like 15%.
Yeah. Quietly now.
I always like seeing if I can do those without killing a single thing. Seems I still can. One there. Ah, on this island. How many crystal marbles do I have? They be over here. Yes. 218. Not bad. Not a lot. Where do I go? Straight, I think.
Take it easy.
There are a handful of characters where they're just delightful to use when just traveling about. Galen is absolutely one of them. I ley line defense. It just sits there and dies.
Motion to compel.
Let's roll! Suffocate! Cross! Come again. Attaboy! Free!
Busted.
Should bam! Place my hammer. There's no end to this. Another test of
Incinerate!
That tingle?
Gotcha.
Let's roll!
Motion to compel.
I wasn't done. Attaboy!
There's this on fire. No. I cannot. He said other one's on fire. Go figure, plants by the water can't be set on fire. The more you know.
Busted.
Incinerate! Motion to compel.
Let's roll!
Our bond is strong.
Bam!
Incinerate!
1, 2, 3, and 4.
Dissipate!
Let's get down to
Gotcha.
business. Attaboy! How's this?
Quietly now.
Motion to compel.
Okay, that one hurt.
Stand with me.
Gotcha. Take it easy.
Incinerate!
The fairy finally done.
Yeah, I have enough resin. At least for one boss real quick. I suppose I could just wander around. Wander the wilds.
Add Ash. Thank you for. Add Ash.
The girls are out collecting. That's what I want to show. Lisa looks so adorable. I won't be getting it for a few days at least. An outfit Lisa had someone commissioned for her when she revisited Sumeru. A perfect blend of practicality and elegance. The dress bears a resemblance to Lisa's old uniform from her academy days. Well, Lisa is just best. A lovely lady, Lisa. Hold on. 9, so about 160, give or take. Did it get reset? Like, actually. It looks like it did. Okay, I'm gonna try one more pull for Alhaitham, only I refuse to do anything less than 10 pulls. Meaning, I need this. Almost never indulge. So I just have to get 9 stars for this. That's 150, so yeah. Basically. Easy peasy. Alright. Crossbow. Crossbows are always so annoying because they just continuously back up. Chamber 2. I mean, cryo would be nice, but if you work it right, it doesn't really matter. And then these ones are easier. These ones are irritating. Right. Could just select a team because I have my team all set up. Like, oh yes, you should recreate your team, and I'm like, oh no, I will not. Well, no, I do sometimes recreate a team. Artaki Ito hits like a truck. Do you suppose in this team I could replace Yanfei for Zhao? This is just best team. I like having her as healer and then just. Yeah. Noel. Let's see. Less defense, but 40 attack. Floor chamber. 20 attack for the entire thing, or plus 40 for just this one. I think I'll go for the entire thing.
One with nature. Clouds high. The birds call.
Illusion shattered.
Into the wind.
They're like half a mile away. And they're just like, look at the little idiot. It's just like sitting there.
Shine down.
The wind knows me. As one with wind and cloud.
It's just a perfect team.
Bond is strong.
A new punching bag.
Busted. Game's up. Fun's over. Quietly now. Happy to oblige. Take it easy. Stand with me. Our bond is strong. Boring. Things are about to get dicey. I'm getting sick of this.
Attaboy!
I'm just here for the Freemo gems. Energy recharged. I mean, I don't really care for either of the other two, so absolutely, I just go for more attack. Just like,
One with nature. Fallen leaves. Adorn my nut.
Time for a light show.
The wind knows me.
Illusion shattered.
Clouds high. The birds call.
Shine down.
Allow me.
Into the wind.
Feel the split.
Illusion shattered.
The wind knows me.
I do love these things.
Stand with me.
Our bond is strong.
Evil conquering! Here! Worthless! 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 Here!
Like I said, and by if you know what you're doing, I mean if you have a Zhao. Alright. Defense. Elemental mastery.
Into the wind.
Shine down!
Rust and rebuild! Fire hazard!
Why can't they just sit over there?
Illusion shattered!
What is wrong?
The wind knows me. As one with wind and cloud.
Shine down! Stand with me!
You are not welcome here.
Gotcha. Game's up. Fun over. Take it easy.
Oh, coming through. Testing my patience. Gotcha. Will meet again.
Alright. Ba-da-ba-ba. Ah, yes, I remember when Tartaglia was a key part of my spiral abyss. Great crit damage. Elemental burst skill cooldown. Crit damages. Would I like Artifact to hit like a truck? Yes. Would I like to hit? Would I let up?
Into the wind.
There is no escape!
Hold the line! Time for a light show!
The wind knows me.
Illusion shattered!
Allow me!
Shine down!
One with nature. Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
Fire hazard!
Bug.
Things are about to get dicey.
Let's roll! Who wants some of this? Attaboy!
Stand with me!
Let's roll!
Alright, let's move on. Element to mastery, defense. Bruh.
That's close enough.
What's one more?
Into the wind.
Take this!
There is no escape!
Ready!
As one with wind and cloud.
Time for a light show!
This will do! Fall before me! Cut down!
with nature.
Rest and rebuild!
Probably the character should have been dead a long time ago.
Dissipate!
Quietly now. Lament! Worthless! 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 Boring!
What?
Attaboy!
The bond is strong!
Why do you all keep attacking those things?
Gotcha!
Let's roll! Boring! Attaboy! Quietly now.
Way to danger zone. Defense skill damage.
Time to go to work. You are not welcome here.
Into the wind. Fallen leaves. Adorn my...
Fire hazard! I'm getting sick of this. Shine down!
One with nature.
Right.
Stand with me! The insolent shall be punished. Gotcha! Here comes the catch. Over here!
Coming through!
Over here! See!
Evil conquering! Here! Worthless!
Out of my sight!
What is going on?
Over here!
Here! Quiet. Let's roll! That's me! It's showtime!
Detail is precious. Alright. Oh, that's not what I was looking for. Oh, electroflower, electroflower, electroflower. That definitely needs pyro, I think. Does it? Does it? Am I thinking? Oh, but this is Abyss Hero Wicked Torrents. I haven't fought the serpent yet. Okay, I could beat the Wicked Torrents guy because the water. Water. I mean, without ice, it's frustrating. Does that mean? I mean, doesn't ice also affect electro creatures pretty well? Overall, for this first half, I think I'm going. If necessary. I mean, it's like, don't I? I mean, trading an electric healer for a cryo healer. Think of it like that. But this seems like the most reliable cryo healer. And you have this little kitten. I could have Diona. Diona's little ice shield. I mean, it's not like I'd be using her as an attacker. That's these three. The fact that when you remove one from the first slot, they just move over, I hate that. His ice is decently good. I'm trying to remember. I wouldn't have a healer. Hers is a healing area, whereas hers is a one-off thing. I still don't understand Kiki's. I'll go with Diona. It's not like I'm using her for damage. She's just healer. She's just Zhao's healer. Kaya. Kaya's delightful. Energy recharge. Defeating an opponent gets a 50% chance in elemental cooldown. The opponent instantly restores energy recharge. Oh, it's this! I hate this. I'm protecting this thing.
That's close enough. New punch. The wind knows me. As one with wind and cloud.
There is no escape.
Allow me.
Time for a light show.
I'll be.
I'm getting sick of this game.
One with nature.
Another test subject. Suffocate!
The wind knows me. Clouds high. The birds call.
Hold the line.
Test subject.
Into the wind.
Journey ends here. Like say.
Fallen leaves. Adorn my night.
Shine down.
Rest and rebuild.
The wind knows me.
Illusion shattered.
Hold the line. Fire hazard.
Hello. I mean, this is time-based. Damage-based, so I suppose.
Golden slumber.
Kitty, kitty, kitty.
Scratch. Shake and stir. Can't handle your drink.
Game's up. Fun's over.
Oni coming through. Bam!
Overkill. Yep.
Let's roll.
Think you can bully me?
Gotcha.
Attaboy! Useless. Who wants some of this? Let's roll!
Let's proceed to not go over. No, I don't understand.
Scratch.
Useless.
Bam!
Quietly now.
I proceed to whip it.
Let's roll!
Boring. Busted.
I mean, it's not like it needs it to be quick. They're all damage. Okay. Yes.
Allow me.
Clouds high, the birds call, one with nature.
Go up the ship too! The fuse is lit! Hold the line!
The wind knows me. Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
A festive reprise!
And we're about to spin.
Look at you, Boozehound!
Here comes the catch.
It's showtime! Attaboy! Can't catch me!
Shaken and stirred!
Lament! Worthless!
Uh-oh. Okay.
Worthless! You want some of this? Let's roll!
Diana special!
The end!
Let's go! Think you can bully me?
Quietly now.
Fair! Who wants some of this? Let's roll!
Shaken and stirred! I'm here!
Useless! Fair!
Ain't having your dream!
Let's roll! It's showtime! Attaboy! Can't catch me!
Things are about to get dicey.
Useless!
Scratch! Shaken and stirred!
Busted.
Look at you, Boozehound!
Disappear! Worthless! Here! Worthless! Here! Worthless!
Stink.
Yeah! Think you can bully me?
Quietly now. Here comes the catch.
Boring!
There we go. Still made it 300 seconds. How long is 300 seconds? Why can't you just tell it to me in minutes? Current buff. Energy recharge. Pog. Defense. Crit damage. I suppose this is good. Things like this are good if you just have all attack. Oops, all attack.
Into the wind! Clouds high, the birds call!
Rest and rebuild!
Let's get down to business. As one with wind and cloud.
Here comes the fireworks!
Inazuma shines eternal!
Not what exactly what I'm doing, but you know what?
There is no escape!
Cheap trick.
The wind knows me. Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
A festive retreat! Fire hazard!
You win.
Oh boy. Gonna do a thing, you did a thing. God damn it.
Shine down!
Rest and rebuild!
Into the wind.
Illusion shattered!
One with nature.
Cut down.
Shake it and stir!
Right.
Useless!
Oh god, did I choose
Scratch! Can't handle your dream!
Attaboy!
Busted!
Think you can bully me? Shake it and stir! Diana special!
Things are about to get dicey.
Who wants some of this? Bam! Yeah! Attaboy!
Oh my god.
I'm a rock! Scratch!
Quietly now.
Okay. If I wasn't a bit stupid in the beginning. Alright, we're rolling. Ooh. Rune Garter. These are. If this is what I. Is it the one that was. I can. Half the time I cannot recognize these. Basically, Kazuha's team is for crowd control. If there's a lot of them, they're the better ones. But if I have these tanky guys, Ito's team. I mean, Kazuha's team still is pretty powerful. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Do I like having ice? Not particularly. That is a question though. No, because I need a healer. I was gonna say, should I have Genshin? I do need a healer. Zhao makes himself a glass cannon. Zhao is a proper energy recharge, defense, this is the one. Effectiveness more.
Dissipate! Game's up. Fun's over.
Oni coming through!
And remember, this is like a rune garter that I back in the
Bam!
Lament! Worthless! Cheer! Worthless! Cheer! Worthless! Useless!
I'm like,
Stand with me. Lightning Purify. Here comes the catch.
It's showtime! Attaboy!
All right.
Evil conquering! Cheer! 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 Worthless! Cheer!
Our bond is strong.
Who wants some of this? Let's roll! Attaboy!
Dissipate.
Bam!
hello.
I'll settle this. Game's up. Fun's over. Busted.
It's showtime! Let's roll!
I love you feel bad for just like using
Attaboy!
Our bond is strong.
Lament!
as a
Worthless!
healer, but at the same time, that's what I need it for.
Cheer! Cheer!
Alright.
Worthless! Cheer! Boring!
Stand with me. Things are about to get dicey.
Oh, coming through! Let's roll! Attaboy!
That's not the worst.
Our bond is strong.
Evil conquering! Cheer! Worthless!
I mean,
Cheer!
I'm already.
Worthless! Worthless!
Hell, come on, hell,
Cheer!
come on, hell. Goodness. Like, I'm already down one tier.
Into the wind! As one with wind and cloud!
Hold the line. Go with the ship too.
Time for a light show.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night! The wind knows me.
Allow me. Uphill battle.
Here come the fireworks.
As one with wind and cloud! One with nature!
There is no escape.
Hold the line.
That hurts! Into the wind!
Fire hazard. I'm getting
Fallen
sick.
leaves, adorn my night! One with nature!
Sir!
Rest and rebuild!
The wind knows me.
Time for a light show!
Okay. I mean, I got 1 star. Not the worst, not the best. Chamber 2. Oh. Apparently this game thinks that I'm losing health. Nonsense. I mean, Shinobu's alive, so sorry.
Let's get down to business.
Let me try my
Gotcha!
Here comes the catch. It's showtime! Bam! How's this? Attaboy!
Stand with me! Quietly now.
Who wants some of this?
This is over! Eat this!
Attaboy!
Gotcha!
Cut down! Like this.
Game's up! Time's over!
Lament! Cheer! Cheer! Cheer!
Out of my way!
Oh, coming through! Attaboy!
Stand with me! Quiet. Go.
Let's roll!
Dissipate! Here comes the catch.
Who wants some of this? Take that. Attaboy!
Our bond is strong!
Disappear! Cheer! Worthless! Cheer! The day has finally come!
Okay.
There!
What even are you?
Gotcha! Take it easy.
Use you.
Our bond is strong! Quietly now. Things are about to get dicey.
Oni coming through!
Stand with me! Take it easy. I'll settle this.
Let's roll! Can't catch me!
Busted. Dissipate. Game's up. Fun's over.
It's showtime!
Traveler, hurry! It's almost time for us to join Hotel for dinner!
Oh my goodness.
And we'll be meeting at Shinra Kiosk. It's the place with a really long
condensed scorpion and a condensed red vulture. Oh, so basically they're like mega bosses of those little snacky monsters that have been running around. I guess I did call them snacky monsters. It's actual power.
One with nature, as one with wind and cloud.
There is no escape.
Goldfish up down!
The wind knows me.
Allow...
Down.
Into the wind. Fallen leaves, adorn my night.
Torn to oblivion.
Remove. One with nature. Clouds high. The birds up.
Hold the line! A festive reprise!
There is no escape. Now you shall perish. Shine down.
Into the wind. Fallen leaves, adorn my...
Uphill battle, Paul! Line.
There is no escape.
Here come the fireworks!
As one with wind and cloud.
Rest, rebuild!
Shine down.
Covenant of the deep! Let's move out. A brash maneuver! Goldfish up down!
The wind knows me.
Illusion shattered.
One with nature.
What was he doing at the end? I mean, I know what I'm doing. I'm scraping by. Yeah. Wait. Oh, right. I lost Shadow. Oh dear. Wait. Wait. No, they don't bring characters back to life.
Our bond is strong. Gotcha.
Attaboy! Let's roll!
Out of my way.
Attaboy! Can't get...
Stand with me.
Lightning Sheriff!
Things are about to get dicey.
Oni coming through! Let's roll!
Yeah, this is good. They're...
Oh, attaboy!
Like, they're not difficult. They just have so much health.
Dissipate.
Quietly now.
Can't get... Bam! Let's roll!
Stand with me.
I'll settle this.
Here comes the cash.
It's showtime! Attaboy!
I don't feel like it's a mix of it so far in
Let's roll!
Gotcha.
Attaboy!
Out of my way! Game's up. Fun zone.
Who wants some of this? Attaboy!
Quietly now.
Stand with me. Our bond is strong.
Oh my god.
I'll settle this.
Here comes the catch.
Oni coming through! Let's roll!
Busted.
Yeah. I know what you
Bam!
Yeah, I just ended up streaming earlier.
Okay.
Help.
Let's...
Yeah. Perfectly.
Out of my way.
Game's up. Fun's over.
It's showtime! Bam!
One of these days, I'm actually gonna have to pay attention to like how people
Attaboy!
are like doing crazy high damage,
Gotcha.
like all the time.
Stand with me.
Let's roll!
Dear, no way. Go get the target. Oh my gosh. Yes, for 2 hours. Actually, 2 hours is longer than I thought it was. It feels like it was just an hour.
You are not welcome. Into the wind. Shot clouds high. The birds carry.
Feels as lit. I'm getting sick of this game. A twisted retreat. Let the light.
Illusion shattered. Absurd.
Fallen leaves adorn my night. The wind knows me. Defeat them.
Fireheads. Allow me.
Fire coming with some target practice.
Right this time. access. Clouds high. The birds call.
Here come the fireworks!
Where do you think you're going?
There is no escape!
Into the wind.
Rust and rebuild!
As one with wind and cloud. The wind knows me.
Not done yet!
The fuse is
Catch this!
Clouds high. The birds call.
Hold the line! Billowing surge!
Bloom as the flowers in Gorban! The eternal oasis at long last! Into the wind.
Time for election! Allow a freshman.
The wind knows me.
Alas, I took too long. Yes, I'm... I will say, there's like no consistency with when it comes, there's like no consistency when it comes to my streaming habits. Not the worst. I didn't trip until the 12th floor. One day I'll... One day... What are the words? One day I'll mine star the floor 12. That is not today.
Attaboy!
It's 12. I was trying to remember.
Real men don't carry umbrellas.
I'm curious, what about you, Bane? Have you gotten far on the spiral abyss?
Boom! Ha!
Dissipate!
Here comes the catch.
One of my better ones.
Busted.
Like normally, like, I try to start before 11.
Quietly now.
Got a pro gamer. Floor 11. Game. Ah, yes. DVD. I'm very... I'm like... I feel like I'm somewhere in between like a casual player and like a hardcore player. Cause like... Cause like I'm like really doing my best to like level up like all their talents to almost crowning them. I don't use crowns. I'm very stubborn about that. But like almost to the very end for most of them. But then like when it comes to constellation, I mean unless they're like forever banners, which just pop up on occasion. If they're 5-star, they're not getting another one, or if they're 4 stars, then those ones have a chance. And that's usually because I'm wishing. Speaking of which, wishing. Definitely getting close to pity. I wish. Yo. Dancing Pikachu. She's going. Her constellation is just going up and up. Ever. Unless. Let's see. What is it? No, he's gonna check history. Trying to figure out about how close I'm getting to pity. So 10. 50. 60. So I'm like 60 wishes in, give or take. So I'm pretty close to pity. Yeah.
If the attack you get.
I do have a bunch of these. Let's see. Do I want to? Alright. I'll give one more quick pull. Ah! Oh my goodness. I like saving the star glitter. Cause I've been saving the star glitter for like when Amber, Lisa, and Kaya come around. I need 2 more Kayas, 1 Lisa, and 3 Amber. Right?
I'll drag out.
3 4 stars. Most certainly lucky. And yet, it's still not who I'm looking for. But it's like, it feels like that's what happens to all 4 stars. Not the 5 stars. Oh my gosh. It occurred to me, like, you can pretty much level 50 sign. Oh yeah, pretty much, like, everyone, I immediately level up everyone to level 50 because you can get 2 free wishes if you do that, and like they're pretty easy to get. Level 70 is a bit more difficult to get to, like 45 of these, 30, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75, so that's like 75 of like each of these things, which sometimes they're easy, like this one. Like I could probably do these, but others, like these lotuses, I have 49, but it feels like, oh, these ones, I only have 28. Some of the things, it just feels like they're borderline impossible to get a hold of a lot of them. Goodness. What was I doing? Yes. I'm curious, do you have like a main team that you just you know, main, or do you like rotate through your characters? Or do you just like use the newest 5-star? Because I know that that's one of the things I'm doing. Like as I'm slowly leveling everyone up to level 90, like I just rotate in different teams. Like what's the next one? You have like 2 main teams. Ah yes. Oh my gosh. If I go to
Every last one.
to team and I'll hate them team. Sorry, your go-to. Nice. What was it? Party set.
Have to apologize.
Because like I have this one. Like if the team's level, if they're level 90, then I've used them. What was the team? To be fair, I've recently started shuffling them. I'm trying to think. Pretty much, I just think whoever goes together. There is little logic to my team compositions. It's just whoever I think looks adorable together. Oh goodness. Aside from that, pretty much just no doubling up on elements. And then I always have to have a sword or spirit user, a bow user, a claymore, or a catalyst user. That's literally the team composition of everyone. Ayaka's outfit is. Oh, hello, Tomer. Ayaka's outfit is just adorable. I love this. Oh my goodness. Yes, I want to get not amazing with every character, but I want to get like a good grasp on like every character's like strengths and weaknesses. So at the very least, I can use them just like any team in a pinch. Hello. Very scary.
Our bond is strong.
Bam! Cha!
Shinobu's is actually really pretty. No? Actually, I say. Shinobu. Shinobu for today. Oh, that's the question. Have you finished, like, the main story for the lantern, right? Especially Yato team, and I'll hate them. I think the mine's already gained.
Again. The law can be both a help and a hindrance.
Yeah, that's Lisa's. You finished everything possible. I have been... I like, right before last October, I was decently caught up on everything. And then, because of, like, holiday times, oh my gosh, like, everything, like, on everything at home is, like, just so hectic around the holidays. Gotta clean just... Alright, then I'll see you, Bane. Yes, one of these days I will once more be on top of all my quests. I will say I'm probably gonna peace out myself soon. I do want to finish the gourmet sopranos. I've been wanting that recipe for far too long. Well, Also, it's been 2.5 hours. Let's save it. Nice. I want some rocks. They're shiny rocks.
Incinerate! Ha! Ha! Gotcha!
I used to love the Kratos line, mostly because ice is my favorite element. But because of that one Mondstadt domain...
Attaboy! Bam! Can't catch me.
Just crawling along this snow, as butterflies do. Alright. Dog sure is
It's a lucky day.
Let me try my blade.
See no more.
Busted. Take it easy. Game's up. Fun's over.
Cheap tricks.
See no more.
For me.
Oh, this is
Let's roll.
Did with me.
Suffice.
Oh, right.
Attaboy.
You win.
Quietly now.
Let's roll.
Gotcha.
Alright. I'm sorry that you had to see me like this. Uncle Mishmishi. Uncle Mushi, are you okay? Ah, just a few, oh, good words. Just a few lost go-arounds, no big deal. Now, Julie, could you tell us the whole story then? Tell me everything, please, or my books were wrecked for nothing. Ah, the pages are all wrinkled now. It's simple. I just wanted to bring him some food. You only met him once. Why do you trust him so much? I'm sure he's a good man. He was starving, but he gave food to us instead of keeping it for himself. Anyone who's willing to share food with others when they're hungry must be a good person. Your concept of good and evil is so straightforward and pure. You must live in some fairy tale world instead of Teyvat. I think she's right, though. I agree. Those who can uphold their honor and decency when they're hungry can't be all that bad. Such simple and straightforward logic. Anyway, Julie, do continue. So, I made some chicken mushroom skewers and wanted to try my luck finding him where we first met. I did see him there, as it turned out. I was just about to say hello when I noticed that he was confronting some Kagiri. I wanted to get away, but I was spotted by them. I'll take it from here. Among those people are some of my old friends who served with me under the shogunate. After Inuzuma's sudden change, we all left the shogunate one after another to make our own living. Is that how they make a living? Yes, we don't have any way to make money other than by the sword. Since then, they became the Kagiri as you see them, making a living by plundering. I didn't want to live like that, so I wandered the land looking for work. But no one would dare hire me as soon as they found out I used to be a samurai who had left the shogunate. Since then, as you can see, I've had to scavenge for food in the wilderness. Recently, my former comrades seem to be short-handed, so they've come every day to persuade me to join them. I refused every time. Today, when Julie appeared, they thought I must have joined some clan or another and was trying to get rid of them, so they attacked us. A sensitive lot, huh? It's not surprising considering their position. I think they were just using any excuse to deal with a disobedient person like me, to throw their weight around a bit. After all, I have repeatedly refused them, and it must have come as a blow. So I went to deal with those guys, and I stayed where I was, waiting for him to return. Then suddenly a group of monsters appeared. Should have been able to deal with them, right? Usually I could, but I didn't eat anything when I left this morning, so I was too hungry. I didn't have the energy. I lost all the chicken and mushroom skewers on me when I was spotted by those Kagiri. Luckily, I had Uncle Mishia to protect me. That's why breakfast is so important. Guess you won't be skipping breakfast from now on. There's still many of these unreasonable Kagiri in Izuma. I'm going to be here a while, and it just doesn't feel safe. I can deal with a few weak monsters, but there's no way we can handle a group of people who know martial arts. Uncle, you just mentioned that you're looking for a job, right? How would you like to come with us? Yeah, that would be great. But since he's a samurai who'd left the shogunate, wouldn't he get us into trouble in Inazuma? That's true. If I go with you, I might get you into trouble. Haha, I don't think it matters. We're just going around looking for cooking ingredients. The best thing a person in this situation can do is stay far away from anything to do with the shogunate or samurai. If you work for someone as a guard or in security detail, you're more likely to attract suspicion. Plus, I don't think it would be right to let a good man like you starve. I doubt I can fix anything else as a chef, but I can at least make sure that you're well fed. Sir, you... Aha! Well, what do you think? Would you like to join us? In that case, I'm at your service, sir. This is a good thing, right? Yeah, this is for the best. Alright, I'm sure everyone is starving after all that work. This isn't a great place to cook, but I'll find a way to whip something up. Traveler, have a rest. I'll take care of it. You just wait here. Okay, time to get started. Nurse's dongs ham. Haha, done. Origini made of leftover rice. It's a bit rough, but it'll fill your stomach. Come on, let's eat. Traveler, thank you for coming with us. This recipe is for you. Uncle Mushia just gave it to me, and I made you a copy. He said it's a recipe he got while still working for the shogunate. It's quite unique. You can give it a try if you're interested. Alright then, enough talk. Let's eat. Gourmet samurai. This is actually quite tasty. I'll definitely go for another round. Why did you want to bring him food? Well, I just didn't want to see him go hungry. Last time I saw him, he seemed sad. I thought it was probably because he didn't have enough to eat. So I wanted to bring some food to him. He won't be so sad once he's full, I thought. What made you trust him? That's an adventurer's intuition. I'm very good at telling the good guys from the bad guys. Only good people give out food when they're hungry. Oh. I'll never make breasts with it again. I can't believe those two. You still don't trust him, huh? You mean Kami Mushia? Of course not. We've only met him a few times. How could I trust him so quickly? But while I don't trust Kami Mushia, I do trust Judan's judgment. You're from the academia? Sort of. I was originally doing field research for the academia when I met Zudong in Liyue. He was planning to travel around and study recipes, and the topic I was studying happened to be related to food. After we talked a few times, we decided to travel together. We first went to Mondstadt. We were surrounded by a bunch of monsters. That's when Julie came. She helped us to chase them away. When she heard that we were traveling around looking for different cuisines, she joined us. She said she was planning to go adventuring, but I have the feeling that she just wanted to have some good food. We'll be going to Sumeru next. I'm almost done with my research, so it's time for me to go back to the academia. When we get to Sumeru, I'll make sure... Oh my goodness, words. Hiccups. Goodness. I'll make sure they get a taste of our local specialties. Okay, goodbye. Ah, full at last. Why did you help him? You mean Uncle Mishia? I did it for my I did it out of my professional ethics as a chef, of course. Just kidding, but I really don't want to see a good man like him go hungry. In truth, I don't want to see anyone go hungry. Hunger is a terrible feeling. I've had first-hand experience. People can do terrible things under the influence of hunger. Oh my gosh, my little sister is the worst when she's hungry. I think that if everyone in this world ate well, perhaps a lot of terrible things could be avoided. I can't do it alone, I can't do it alone, true. But as a chef, I can at least try to help the people around me eat well. To put it simply, I just want everyone to have food and eat well. A rather meaningless idea, I suppose. No, it's a noble idea. Thanks a lot. Okay, no more talking. Have some more and don't leave any on your plate. Wasting food is a terrible sin. I'll see you later. You're leaving? Not having any seconds? What's the matter? Why'd you agree to join Sudan? Like Yudon said, if I want to have enough to eat, working for him is my best option at the moment. Besides, Julie and Sudong are both of high moral character, and it will be an honor to travel with them. Paravol is a thoughtful person. It is understandable she would be wary of me. Besides, she's merely a little suspicious of me as opposed to rejecting me outright, and that is enough for me. Have you really just been wandering around? Indeed, I would never lie. Since I left the shogunate, I've just been wandering around. I usually fill my stomach with wild fruits, and when I'm lucky, fresh game. Occasionally, I also help people to fight off monsters or Kyogre, which gets me at least some payment. For someone like me who has no skills other than wielding a sword, job opportunities are a bit scarce. Not to mention my background of leaving the shogunate, and people always associate me with the Kagari. That makes it even harder to find work. I have no home or family to go to in Inazuma. Since I had nowhere to go, I just wandered. Why did you leave the shogunate? I just couldn't agree with what the shogunate was doing in Inazuma. I'm just a martial artist. I don't know what's good for the country or not. I only knew that it went against what was in my heart, so I chose to leave. Perhaps I was too old-fashioned. Please try not to laugh. I'll see you later. Farewell. And that's a long-standing quest finally finished. Yes. Dragon and snakes. Oh, right. The Millennium Moon, the Chimes of the encounter with a rare bird. Statistic views. Long shoe in. Lost in a foreign land sneaky. All right, the Fatui chick. Oh, I feel so bad. Oh goodness. Because this country plays and can still involved in the execution. News checking on her. Oh, these are the things. Okay. Your breath and cooking. What kind of smoke? There's so many of these. I think these are all Sumeru, Trinor Forest, Helgrana, you have to find R&R. Golden slumber. Friendship months that needs help from adventurers. Seems Nara. From the Central Singular Samurai, Xavier seems to have no idea. I keep wanting to collect this, but that'll just add another quest in the thing. And as I've learned, as I've learned, characters can be involved in other quests. Also, locations can be involved in other quests. It baffles me to no end. Lotus Eater. Got a few more. Dragon Snake, Series, Lotus Eater, Battle of Revenge. What arc have I done right? What arc have I done right is always confusing. I'm like, which one is it? It seems important, and yet at the same time. Oh. I'm curious. No, pity. They're in Liyue. Feels like they're always in Liyue. Oh, it's last. Alright, so work from the top down. I did do those daily commissions. And I was like, the daily commissions. I'll save those for later. There wouldn't have been a later.
Attaboy!
Dissipate! Motion to compel!
Why do they hit rocks? The world may never know.
Let's roll!
One day, I'm sorry, that was
Busted! Take it easy.
Okay, that one hurt.
Stand with me! Looking for a fight? Gotcha!
Can't catch me!
Nope.
Attaboy!
I always found that cool. Oh my goodness. I just like looking at little animations. I, I sometimes do that.
The bond is strong.
I have 8 of them. Looking for the most commonly colored, you would think. Yeah, those are... yeah, they're black ones.
Yeah. Stand with me. Busted.
Let's roll!
I genuinely wonder why that was.
Quietly now. Our bond is strong. Boom boom. Ha.
I'll have you on this tomorrow.
Stand with me.
Let's roll!
How convenient. I was like, what is drawing my attention? Yes.
Busted. Gotcha.
Incinerate! Motion to compel!
Busted.
Attaboy!
Stand with me!
Alright. If you're in the water, it can't electrocute you. I mean, that's a set of logic. I keep wanting
Our
to,
bond
like,
is strong!
use attacks.
Boom! Motion to compel!
Gotcha.
Let's roll!
Always bait. Always bait them if you can. I do not want to fall and drown myself. That would be a oopsie whoopsie. Whoopsie whoopsie. Actually. Which one is it? Which one is it? Yes. Alright, cool. I'm going to a different part of Lyra. I was like, I don't want to do that quest right now. I'll save it for next time. It's been 3 hours. My, how the time flies.
Dissipate!
Add a... Thank you for...
One more boss opponent. Where's the ice flower? I'll probably use the fire flower. And I could work on the mains, I think it is. Right. Oh my goodness, you're so low. Armor's actually not half bad. Wait, do I want to? Maybe. I'm gonna save the 6 minutes. Actually, tartar sauce. Yes. 12. I was not at all paying attention to the second one. One is all the way up to crowns. lot of my more recent ones. I do have the Traveler all set up. I guess I could always crown the Traveler, but I don't have very many crowns. They're very hard to come by, don't you know? You are also so very low. 5-star. Jane? Yeah. One of these days, I'm actually gonna have to take them off, because I think, yeah, like this one needs to be leveled up, but these two are good. This takes so long to check everyone, because like some, like, are like 9, but then Latte, oh, Latte is also 9. Actually, I think it's the 5 stars, no? Yes, because then some are like Hitching, and it's like at 12, and I'm like, okay. I suppose if they're not 9 or 12. But then this one worries me because it's like it's still 6. Wait, oh, is Kate's blue? And this one's going up to 12. Okay, have I finally, after all this time, started learning? And then this one would then go up to 9, and these two would go up to 12. Do I have anybody who can... Well, you're 9 and you're not done yet. You're 11 and you're not done yet. Kaya's 12. Okay. I was always wondering why sometimes they're a different color, why sometimes they're blue. Okay, fish. You're level 9, not done, but level 12 is. Okay. Meanwhile, level 7 isn't, because it's not level 9. So if they don't have if they're not blue, they're 9. If they are blue, they go up to 12. So then this one is not done, the same as this one. And this one also falls into the same line. Fascinating. And then Lisa, yeah, Lisa's done. Okay. You are seeing me learn things in real time. Yeah, I'm just like essentially double checking. Oh my gosh, this got so much easier. Like, than these two, I know. Like, yeah, they still need to be leveled up. But then, like, Zion, like, I know that she's all good. Oh, you know, I love her attacks. Her attacks are delightful. And Benny has a way to go. Oh my gosh, it's taken me far too long. So these have one more. These have one more. These have one more. These have one more. Actually, everything has just one more. That's mostly dumb luck. This one has 2. These will go to 9. Okay, okay. Did I ever... Party characters will not startle crystal flies and certain other animals when getting near them. Check the other subcategory of living beings wildlife section in the creature is a skill works one. Subcategory of living beings. Okay, I just want to see. Desert Sumpter Beast. Wait, our desert. Oh! So you have Sumpter Beast and a Desert Sumpter Beast. Is this what a Sumpter Beast's eye looks like? They're kind of cursed. I'm not gonna lie. I like the fuzzy ones. I don't want to see their eyes. I do not. They're so much like a beetle. I've caught 13 of these. 2, 8. I need some red ones, some blue ones, some lighter blue ones. Red lizards, blue lizards, green lizards. Excuse me. Bronze, orange and black. I have enough blue and red lizards. Crabs. use some more ocean crabs. Those are the blue ones. Sun crabs and golden crabs. Frogs. Yeah, I have enough frogs. Lotus. If half the time it feels like I never see these. 15, 6, 4, 4, 5, 3. I could use another geocrystal flyer too. These are the fishable fish. We have 4 of those. 6, 2, 5, 5. Oddly enough, the regular weasel I don't see very often. And 3 of these, and 3 of these. I just went on a catching spree. These little green ones are just so cute. Look at them. I love these things. They're adorable. Snowboard, squirrels, kitsunes, desert fox, crimson fox, snow fox. I absolutely love the snow. Snow is just in general my favorite. I only have 5 of them. Alright, the sacred Ilbis. Violet Ilbis, and then Zero Train. Sure. 6 bluebirds. I have no snowbirds. 1 golden bird and 8 crimson birds. 1, 6, 8. I have 6 of those. So I need black king pigeon. So I need the ones with the black heads or blue heads. Okay. And then these things. I suppose these ladies aren't things. They are ladies. When I was thinking, where are these things? Apparently there's even another. They're so angry. They're bosses. Tartaglia, you're lagging.
Long sword in hand and the world at my feet.
I don't have any resin, so I can't do the last boss. Or ley lines, or most of anything. Oh, it's ley lines. How much did I buy on Mora? 100, 1,000, million. 4 million? I mean, it's not the worst. But like, oh my gosh. Now that I know this, I'm just like casually looking at these. But yeah, like 450,000. That's nearly 500,000. Goodness. Oh boy. I like die on the inside. Have a 12. Or rather an 11. 260. Either way. 450. Ow! Hiccups are the worst.
Just let me know if you ever find yourself in a pinch.
Right, I still need to be here. And then... oh goodness. Okay, like you, if I leveled you up...
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
So, let's say 75 times 4. Oh my goodness, words, nothing's making sense right now. Okay. Burning level is 28. 190. There we go, 10 and 10 is 20. So 8, and so 300? Quick math, did I fail? It's 300, so that's basically half. It's half of these. And like, that's just to get them up to level 80, let alone level 90, which would definitely be more. Eventually I'll have to acknowledge these. You know, say your thing again. Profile, where is it? Voiceover.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory?
It occurs to me that when he says this, like, he's not necessarily meaning those who have passed. He simply means, like, all of those who have just sort of drifted away from one another. Like Madame Ping and Madam Ping and Cloud Dancer? Cloud Retainer? Madam Ping and Cloud Retainer. Like, both of them once were for certain good friends, essentially, as good of friends as and the Adepti are. And yet nowadays they are just barely reuniting. It's like Zhongli meeting up with the other two Adeptus seems like a very much recent thing. Sashimi platter. It's purple. This one. Seafood dish made using custom ingredients. The fish and shellfish are cut into pieces and arranged neatly. The slices have an elegant and tender taste, providing rich and high-quality nutrition. This lingering sweet aftertaste is delivered fully from the ingredients' freshness, and every bite is an enjoyment worth closing one's eyes and savoring. Honestly, 90% of this, like, I fully understand that this is non-alcoholic. It reminds me of so many drinks. Goodness. I always just like taking little moments, just seeing this, reading little things. Who knows? You'll find something. Oh gosh, why do you need the peardash? And then there was another one. There's another ingredient that I've been salty about. Yeah, simmer roses are fine. The little nut. The little peardash. Is it just the peardash? It might just be the peardash. Either way, the peardash. Why does it need to be there? Why of all flowers? Why can't it just be like the other spicy berry? Although, to be fair, this is peardash pudding. Why would you have it? Why would you make a pudding? I mean, to be fair, it does look delicious. A popular dessert in Simmer. Juices are squeezed from the petals of peardash and Sumer roses before being mixed with milk, gelatin, sugar, and other ingredients, and then left to solidify. Cute appearance and sweet flower make it a common sight at celebratory events in Sumeru. It does look absolutely delicious. I'm probably... Goodness, I am tired. I'm probably only ever going to have 15 of those. I always wish that there were 4 lappies around the base. Just one of them.
Attaboy! Cha!
Alright. Some kiosk. And I'll save that for tomorrow. Or, I suppose, later. Given that it apparently is tomorrow. How much is tomorrow? 23 hours until another tomorrow. I'll catch you later today. Very much later today.
Huh, good roll. All right, maybe I'll take one more day off and knock out the rest of the work once I'm feeling up to it.
Yes. Be like Yalen. Until then. Bye.
I got a new letter from an informant. Looks like the situation has changed again.